Dear kitmen, we see you, we appreciate your work. While some fans reckon it's just hanging up shirts in dressing rooms, we know it's so much more. A football team's kit is its identity, its uniform, what sets it out from the rest. But it doesn't clean itself. That's not just the shirts, it's the shorts, the socks, the training gear, the boots, the other bits we sort out behind closed doors. Who's the one digging around in that smelly, stinky laundry basket at full time? Yeah, it's the kit man. They have a lot to work on in a week, from laundry, fixing damaged kit, repairing holes, cleaning boots. Then they pack the van and take everything they need off to the stadium, ready for game day. They don't get a lot of help when they get in the ground too. Kitmen are the ones unloading a full squad's worth of boots, kit, medical bags, and all the bits the players and coaches will need between the start of the day and switching off the floodlights at the end of the day. First thing they do is organise each player's kit, make it easily accessible in order to avoid any dramas on match day. Once everything's in the right place, it's into the dressing room, lay everything out, put players' nameplates on the right locker, all the things you don't even think about on a match day. Once the players arrive, if anything needs doing, they call the kitman. In the meantime, it's on the kitman to help set up for the warm-up. The coaches don't always have time to lay out all the cones and put the balls in those weird triangle piles you see. As the warm-up is underway, the kitman then becomes a glorified ball boy, chasing stray shots and passes, making sure they aren't lost in the crowds. They eventually do the tidying up too, getting everything off the pitch before kick-off and assist the ground staff with any last-minute things they may need. After that, it's last call for the players. Then, at kick-off, they can breathe a sigh of relief for a few minutes, sit back and watch the game, enjoy the fruits of their labour. At half-time, check everyone's okay and everything's as it should be, and then wait for full-time. Once the final whistle's gone, it's time to pack everything down, get the stuff that needs to be washed in the laundry, pack up the van, back to the training ground, and ready to do it again next week. Of course, each club differs, and different staff members will have different responsibilities, but we pay tribute to all of those who do it, whether it's the glitz and glamour of the Premier League or a cold Tuesday night in Stoke.
Welcome to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Jamie O'Hara, and he's back. Jason Cundy.
Has anyone seen my ball bits?
Look at that.
There you go.
Woo! Woo! What a hairline. He's looking fresh, the boy. Looking fresh. We're getting to Cundy's hairline, but England have failed to perform, failed to entertain against Japan tonight. Another dull display from Thomas Tuchel, men. A lot of fringe players as well, not covered themselves in glory. Absolute set-piece FC. But we're going to go straight to Morgan Rogers, who is with Faker Others.
Thanks very much, Jamie. Morgan, I saw how disappointed everybody was when they came into the tunnel. Not ideal, obviously, losing the last send-off game before you head off to the World Cup. What's been said in the dressing room just now?
To stay positive, to know that this isn't us, to know fans, media aren't going to be happy with it, but to also understand that it's a long process and we want to be ready at the right time, and that's in a few months. That's not now. We're going to, of course, look at the game. We didn't come out to lose, of course not. We wanted to play well and have that feel-good feeling. It doesn't always work like that. It's football, it's a sport. We played against a really good team, and that was the test. And yeah, we weren't quite at our best, and we know we can get punished, but come World Cup and come the summer, we know we'll be ready.
I was going to say, obviously, pundits and fans not happy. What about you as players? Why was it that you couldn't quite get the England that we're used to seeing play properly in these two games?
Difficult. They made it really difficult for us. They had a lot of men behind the ball. We're trying to stop everything that we set out to do, and it's difficult, and we need to probably be better at finding solutions for that, and we quite weren't at it, and when you're quite not at it in international football, you can get found out, and we did today. But in the whole, I still thought we played well. We showed really good signs. We got into the final third numerous times, probably just that last end product, which I'll look at myself, and I'm sure the other attackers will look at the same as something quite missing at the end. But as a whole, I think we controlled the game. And on the day, you could easily say we scored 2 or 3, and we're looking at it completely different. It's the way football goes. We have to understand that. But we have to understand why we're here and what we set out to do and what our end goal is. And it's not here. It's in a few months' time.
That's something missing at the end, felt quite clearly, was Harry Kane. How reliant have you become on him?
I think if everyone misses one of the best players in the world, then you're going to notice it. Don't get me wrong, we've got other players that can fill in and score goals, and I don't think we always need them and we can always rely on them. I think we all need to chip in as an attacking unit to score more, because it can't all be on him, but there's no doubt his talent is he's a world-class player. He's our leader, he's our captain, so of course when you miss him, it is notable. He's a big presence, but we're good enough to score goals without him, and we all know that. So we look around and we need to probably show him a bit more help in games and in tournaments if we're going to go far, because it can't just be all on our striker to score everything. Yeah,
Thomas Tuchel said before the match he wanted to see creativity, he wanted to see bravery and something a bit different, bringing a bit of spark to the pitch. Why sometimes do you think England struggle with that? Because you're all brilliant players in the Premier League and Bundesliga, in Harry's case, for example, but is it that you don't play enough together, or what is it that doesn't quite click out there at the minute?
You could say that, but then there's other times where we do play and we win 5-6-0 and everyone's saying we're the best team in the world. I think sometimes teams, international teams, set up and try and stop our threats so much that it becomes really difficult. I think it's hard to play out there. Like today, I'm looking at the pitch and it's so condensed, it's so tight. The way they're trying to stop us out wide, trying to stop us centrally, trying to stop all our threats, and we've got to try and combat that. And it's difficult, it's hard. We give credit to them, they defended really well and made it really difficult for us, and we've got to kind of address how we can combat that. And it's a work in progress, it's learning. We're all learning each other out, we're all learning the way we all different players want to play. Not everyone's played with each other, and that's what you're kind of learning on the fly, and you don't get long in these international breaks. So it's vitally important that we all buy in and we all understand each other and what each other are good at to get the best out of each other. And yeah, it's a work in progress, it's learning, and we've got time, and we know we'll be there and ready in the summer.
Just finally, what message have you got to the fans that will be worried before you head out to the World Cup? Obviously, you've got 2 warm-up games in Florida to kind of, show what you guys can do. You've got to get on the plane. You've got to get your ticket, first of all. What would you say to them?
Not to worry. We'll be fine. We're in a really good moment. We feel good, the staff feel good, the players feel good. It's a really good group. It's really enjoyable to come to camp and to work, and we all want it just as bad as the fans do. And we're gonna show that. We'll be ready, and we know that when push comes to shove, we'll be there with our highest quality, our biggest belief, our biggest effort and energy. And yeah, when it comes to it, we'll be there.
Hope to see you in Florida.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Morgan.
Baker Evans there with Morgan Rogers. I'm sure we're going to hear from Thomas Tuchel very soon as well. Loads to go. You can have your say on tonight's football. Plus, Roberto Zerbi is in at Spurs. We'll obviously talk about that as well. 03717 22 3344. All right, Cundy.
Hello, matey.
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
How you feeling?
I'm all right. I'm okay, yeah.
Gone well?
Yes, so for those that don't know, the hair transplant last Thursday.
Yep.
A couple of days off.
Yeah.
Back in today.
You're looking well, mate. You look well.
So far.
You look hard.
Well, well, the head's been shaved, right? So there's always got the image, haven't you? Like of a bit of a thug.
Yeah, you look like you're going to be on like Football Factory or something.
Yeah, but look, it went well. It's such a weird process. I mean, you're in the chair for about 8.5 hours. It's all done.
I mean, that's hell for you, right? You can't.
Oh, mate. Well, they gave me. I fell asleep halfway through it. They gave me sedatives. Yes, I struggle to sit still, mate. But
struggle?
I struggle to sit
Impossible.
Still. Yes, but they're sedatives, mate. They work their magic. But here we go. So the
Mate, I like it.
Well, we'll see.
It's the new Cundy.
The new version.
The new version of.
The improved. Don't know about that.
It looks all right, mate. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, well, look, big shout out to the Wimpole Clinic. Thank you very much for what they did. And we'll see the results, mate, over the next coming 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
You've got to have a haircut, mate. What's the haircut look? What's the trim? You
don't know.
Quiff?
Don't know what I'm going to go for, mate.
You look all right with the old skin.
I'm not having a hair transplant and then looking like this.
No?
I'm not. No, you don't have a hair transplant and shave your head.
It's all right, though.
Well, for the time being, I've got no choice. Yeah. I've got no choice. This is how it's going to be. All right, so there you go.
You're making me die.
Yeah, it's a bit. I mean, did it hurt? Obviously, during the operation, it's very weird, or during the procedure, very weird, mate. There was one at the back. So I had 3 people working on my head at one time, and I couldn't feel it, but I could feel them. It's all like when you had the anaesthetic in a dentist. You know, someone's working on doing something, but you can't really feel it. People are pulling at your head. Very odd. The next day, honestly, there's very little pain.
No,
really.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be way
just
more.
A bit. You're just uncomfortable. It's some discomfort, you know. But after that, next day was fine.
It's a good hairline now.
Yeah,
it's a good hairline.
We'll see, mate. They've got to grow. Go on, keep growing. Keep growing. Keep growing.
Well, it's good to have you back, mate.
Yeah, it's good to be back, bud.
We missed you.
Good to be back, mate.
Where do you want to start?
Well, there's only one place to start. I watched the game at the weekend, England. I mean, two very bang average performances.
Below bang average.
Yeah. But I've seen so many of these type of performances going into a major tournament. It don't really matter. I mean, you want to see encouraging signs, obviously.
Yeah. Was there any encouraging signs?
There encouraging signs. Not many. I was hoping to see a few more, in all honesty. But
all right, wait there, because we've got to get back to Faker Evans, because she's with the England manager, Thomas Tuchel.
Thomas, not the way you would have liked to have ended the send-off series, I'm sure. I could see how disappointed the players were when they came into the tunnel. Booed off as well. What was your assessment of the game?
Well, we knew before that we have a quite tricky window in March, because our players play a lot of football and they're invested in a very difficult league. We knew that we play very difficult opponents who will arrive in the best possible lineup. We knew all that. On top of it, we had, I think, 7-8 injured players, maybe even more. So that all needs to be factored in. We had 2 very new lineups, and we tried to help the player in a bit of a different structure. So we tried. We got punished for not a lot. We got punished for 1 counter-attack, and they scored. I think we had 19 shots, but only 2 on target, so we missed a bit the punch. But we wanted to learn. We learned, and it's on us now to take the right conclusion and look forward.
You say you missed the punch. You had wanted the players pre-match to be creative, adventurous, put some spark on the field. Did you feel they did enough of that?
You can answer the question. I will not now dig into individual player performances, but we played in the way we played, and players tried everything. But we struggled to create clear chances. We struggled to win one-on-one duels. We were too narrow in the first half in our structure. I don't know why. Second half was better, because we had more width and more attack with our fullbacks. We wanted this normally throughout the whole match, so it got a little bit better. But overall, we created from set pieces and had some deliveries, but not a lot of clear-cut chances.
I know you don't want to talk about individual players, but can we talk about the false 9 position and Phil Foden playing in it? I know he did it against Serbia. You chose to start him in that position today. Did it work? Did it not? What more did you want from him? And did you think, there's 3 questions in this, did you think about putting Gordon in there?
Not just him. If you play in a 10 position, you expect what you expect from a 10. You expect assists, you expect goals, you expect shots, you expect dribblings, you expect dropping a shoulder. This is what you expect when you play on the 10. You want a real 10. I mean, both of them couldn't make the difference. But the structure was also too narrow, so we made it difficult for ourselves. And from here we go. This is where we are at the moment. We tried later with Dom Solanke in there, and then we had Harry Maguire and Dan Burn for the set pieces, for the crosses, for more crosses. We had more width and more mobility on the side. We got a bit better.
Yeah, 2 big lads up front seem to give a little bit more impetus in the box for sure. But this is the first time that England haven't scored against an opponent since June 2024 and the group stage game at the Euros. Does that show how reliant we are on Harry Kane?
Every team is reliant on quality players. That is something very normal. If you have a goal scorer like Harry Kane, everyone, Bayern Munich relies also on Harry Kane. So this is for me just normal. We won matches without Harry. We scored without Harry. This is absolutely possible. But like I said, we knew that this can be a difficult camp because of the quality of the opponents. We knew these are 2 very difficult exams that we have to pass. And it's better than having an easy exam and not knowing. Now we know, and we can take our conclusions.
A couple more questions for you, because this is the last time we'll speak before you name the provisional squad and then the 26 that you're taking out to the USA. You said yesterday that you had a lot of headaches. Do you feel like some of those headaches have been solved positively or negatively? Are you any closer to knowing?
Of course, that's why what the camp is for. We have a week together, and the players, like I said, its competition is always on. The players tried to impress, and the players gave everything. We had good camp. Both matches, the results are disappointing, of course, but it's enough to learn from it, and we will take our decision in some weeks.
I know you hate saying goodbye to the players at the end of a camp. What have you said to them in there to make sure heads are up?
Goodbye, basically, and that this will not define us. This March camp will not define us, who we are. Like we need to put it into perspective. Like I said, we had a almost completely new team in camp in the first 3 days. Tried to build a football team in 3 training sessions. Did okay against the opponent, Uruguay, who are in the top 20 in the world, who came in their strongest lineup, who took it absolutely serious, did absolutely okay. Then big switch of players, big players out of camp, big leaders out of camp. Several injuries from the first match, and we had to build again in 2 days and play again against a well-drilled team. We knew all that, and this is we're disappointed with the result, but we're smarter and we need to take the learning.
So 2 more months before you name the team. What do you do now?
Reflect and digest and stay in touch with the players, observe and take our decisions.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you.
Faker Overs there with Thomas Tuchel. A little good insight into what he's thinking, how he's feeling about the whole situation. Jason, I'm going to be honest. Shocking 2 games, really.
Not great, was it? No.
Oh, right, we've got to go back to Faker Overs, though, because she's with Mark Gay.
Sorry to interrupt you both. He was literally creeping up behind me. Mark, not the send-off game that you would have wanted, but let's start on a positive, shall we? Because you are the 129th man to captain England. I know that it's been on a defeat, so not ideal, but when Thomas Tuchel told you that you had the armband, what was that feeling like?
It was quite calm in the moment, to be honest, but yeah, very surreal moment. I don't think it will sink in until maybe later down in my life when I truly reflect and understand what's happened today, but definitely a proud moment for me and my family.
I said we'd start on a positive, but unfortunately we do have to analyse the game, and I know it wasn't the result that you all would have wanted before the World Cup. How do you assess it from your point of view?
Yeah, like you said, disappointing, but I think it's important that we put things into perspective. A lot of key players were missing tonight as well, and Harry. But I think it's really important, like I said, that we take the positives where we can. We actually created quite a few chances and we had opportunities to score. But it's important that we stick together, have each other's backs, and just make sure that we're ready come time for the World Cup.
What do you think you need to do as a collective in order to do that?
Rely on each other. We've got so much experience in the group, so much experience in the manager, that moments like this shouldn't define us or shouldn't define the campaign that we've had under the manager as well leading up to this match. So it's important that we reflect, learn quickly, and just remember how good we are and remember the good things that we have been doing before, and take that on to the World Cup.
You mentioned missing Harry. That was quite apparent. It's difficult for any player coming in, let alone Phil Foden coming in and playing as a false nine, something that he doesn't do that often. You obviously play with Phil at Manchester City. The argument always is against him for England, that he doesn't show the form that we know he's capable of because he's such an incredible natural footballer when he plays for England. Well, having been in and around him, both for club and for country, why do you think that is?
Phil's a fantastic footballer. I think we all know how good he is. I think it's important that we just have his back, stick with him, because we know how good he is, and allow him to be himself, because I'm sure he'll come good. And when he does, I think we will be raving about how good he is. It's important that we just stick with him, because he knows how good he is, and we all know how good he is.
Just finally, last time we'll speak before the squad announcement is made. Obviously, you're hoping you've got your ticket secured and you stay fit. What's the message to the fans before you head out to the USA?
I'll say first and foremost, thank you for your support along this campaign. We definitely realise how how big you are in this. We wouldn't be doing this without you guys, so we just hope that you guys stick with us, because we're going to need your support. We're going to need you guys behind us, especially in moments where things are difficult and things are tough. It's easy to support people when you're winning and things are going well, but it's in these moments where we see the true fans, and I know that we've got amazing fans in England. People are going to follow us all the way to the World Cup, so thank you so much, and we're going to need your support.
Well said. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mark Gay there with Faye Carruthers. Right, let's get into this England this England camp over the last week or so. I'll be honest, Jace. I'm disappointed. I think that players leaving camp, the performances not great. I know it's second string, and we miss out on Harry Kane playing, but I have to be honest, terrible performances, bang average from everyone. Like Thomas Tuchel looking for players to step up and stake their claims and get in this England squad for America. And really and truthfully, it's just been poor. It's been bang average. Like,
so what?
What do you mean, so what?
So, I mean, honestly, so what?
What do you mean, so what?
So what? He said it. This is not going to define us. No, I agree with you. It's not been great. I couldn't care less.
Oh, I know you don't care.
No, I couldn't. And I'll tell you why. I've seen so many internationals going into major tournaments where you get these kind of performances. It doesn't mean a thing, mate. The only one thing matters is against Croatia. That's when he's got to get it right. Now, we can all have an opinion, and that's why we're here. But in all honesty, mate, if we'd won 5-0 tonight, I'd still say, so what?
No, yeah, but hold on a minute. I understand your argument when you say, so what, it doesn't matter, it only matters about Croatia. But we still need to build towards this World Cup. Yeah. There are players who need to perform to get on this plane. And at the moment, in the Premier League and over this camp, there's been certain players, Cole Palmer, Morgan Rogers, Phil Foden, who are absolutely miles off it.
No one's been at it, mate.
Miles off it.
Yeah, but no one's been at it. But
and
so
we're
what?
talking about bringing these players to the World Cup.
I know, but
we're looking at these players who are going to make the difference. And all we've done is talk about how much we miss Harry Kane.
Well, listen. Unfortunately, we have got no chance without Harry Kane. Right? No chance.
Well, that's embarrassing.
Well, no, okay. Did Argentina have a chance without Messi? Did Argentina have a chance without Maradona? No. No, these big players, and here's our talisman.
We're comparing Harry Kane to Messi.
No, I'm saying they win the World Cup. Every international side has got their go-to guy, right? There is always one. Some have got lucky enough to have two. Without Harry Kane, we've got no. So, but over this last camp, right, and I don't quite know, and I'd love to ask Thomas Tuchel about what he learnt from this camp. He may well have learnt more on the training ground than he did watching these games. Yeah, because probably. It was flat. I can't disagree with you. And you're not going to get an argument out of me. But since Thomas Tuchel has come in, we've done all right. And everyone's going to look back at this last two games and say, we're crap. They don't deserve it.
No, I'm not saying we're
2 90-minute games.
I'm not saying we're crap, Jace, but take out Declan Rice, take out Saka, take out Harry Kane. Right, you're looking at it and you're going, right, this camp has been for players to step up, stake their claim to get in this squad. And none of them, Lewis Hall maybe, I go, bright spark. None of them, really. I look at it and go, he's on the plane.
I agree.
He's going.
Agree with you.
Look at that performance. He deserves to be there. That's the whole point of this camp. And I go, what? I mean, what? Seriously, what's happened to Cole Palmer? Is his twin playing? Has he got a twin?
I thought he actually.
That ain't Cole Palmer playing.
That's not fair against Uruguay. That's not fair against Uruguay. He was all right. He played well against Uruguay when he come on.
Oh, well done.
But I'm saying, if we're going to criticise evenly, he actually today wasn't very good.
He wasn't very good. He was terrible.
But there's a lot of players in this camp, the last two. But you know what? So what? It's about.
Don't keep saying so what.
No, I'll tell you why it is so what. Because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter, mate.
The grand scheme of the friendlies doesn't matter. But it does matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
Mate.
No, it doesn't. Stuart Pearce summed it up beautifully by saying it's a reality check. Right, we've cruised through the qualification as we always do.
You know
right,
what?
you never learn much from qualification. You know these games. He'll have learnt stuff from the camp. But if anyone is going to come away from these two games and think that this is going to define us, as Thomas Tuchel said, you're wrong. It's about what happens in the warm-up games.
Right, who did we play in the qualifiers? Right, who did we play?
I know.
Like no one.
I know.
Like literally, no. We didn't concede a goal.
No.
Right, we play against Uruguay. bang average. We play against a really good Japan side who've won 4 games on the bounce going into the game, and they bopped us off the park.
Yeah, I know. And
you're looking at it going, you say it don't matter.
No, I don't think it does, Jay. I don't think it does.
Oh, come on.
I don't think it does, mate. I don't think it does. I think there's such a knee-jerk reaction with England. I've been seeing this too many times. Like I said, if we'd won these last 2 games, I would be sitting here saying the same thing. It's about what you do at the World Cup. It's always been the same thing.
I get that, Chase. I hear what you're saying, mate. But you've got to look at the performance and you go...
No, it's not good enough.
Is that good enough?
No,
England.
No,
England. That's the best we've got to offer.
No.
We look like set-piece FC.
It's not good enough. I'm not going to lie.
The Premier League is running... For me, the Premier League looks like it's rubbing off on the England national team.
What about
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
A load of set-pieces. We're trying to score in 80th minute.
What's wrong with that?
Corners in
What's wrong with that?
It's embarrassing.
No, what's wrong with
What are you talking about?
I'm still going to win the title by being brilliant at that.
Oh, come on.
I'm not as bothered about it as you are. I genuinely am not.
Thought it was terrible.
I'm disappointed.
Terrible.
I'm disappointed, but I'm not going to sit here and go down the route that you are by slaughtering everyone.
I'm not slaughtering everyone.
Well, you are.
No. I'm slaughtering the fact that we've had 2 camps there for players to step up and say, I want to be on that plane for the World Cup. That is literally like
you're right.
every boy's dream to play for England at a World Cup. And not one player, not one, really, stood out and you go, why, yeah, he's on the plane. He's my man.
But Jay,
he's going to be the guy that I turn.
Well, listen, that I can't disagree.
You got lads pulling out. Don't want to be there.
No, that's what do you mean?
Well,
they got knocks.
Half the squad pulled out.
Well, they got knocks.
Oh,
I wouldn't worry too much about it, Jay. Honestly, I wouldn't. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah, there's plenty to look at and there's plenty to criticise. As I said, disappointed. Yes, over the 2 games, not good enough, right? But honestly, it's all about Croatia, mate.
Is Phil Foden going?
I don't know. That is a very good question.
Well, there you go.
I don't know.
I just
don't know.
That is the whole point of this camp.
Yes, of course. And
Find answers. Is Phil Foden going to produce for England at the World Cup? Based on them 2 performances? No. It's Cole Palmer. Is he going?
I don't know how this is going to play out any more than you do, right? But I don't think these games will define us. I think what Thomas Tuchel will have learned is by having players around the camp, because there's a lot of players that have come into this camp that haven't been with England before. I don't get this overreaction. It's not. It's these games.
It's the last games before you get.
It's a pre-season game, Jace.
It's not.
Jay, it is. It's not a pre-season game. Do you slaughter Spurs if they don't play well?
That's not pre-season game.
It's like
that's
that.
not. No, it's not.
It's like it.
No, it's not.
It's
that is the last 2 games that you've got a chance to impress your manager to go to the World Cup.
Yeah, and it wasn't good enough.
That's not a pre-season game.
No, but they are like pre-season.
Massive
they don't matter. In the grand scheme of things,
the result doesn't matter, but the performance matters.
No, I don't think it does, Jay. I don't think it does. Had we won 5-0, I'd say the same thing. Say exactly the same thing. I've seen too many campaigns of England playing these type of games. Look at the team. It's been a mishmash of a team. Players aren't there. This squad is disjointed. Could it be better? Of course it could. Absolutely not going to disagree. But anyone that overreacts, like you are, right, at the moment.
Overreacting?
You are.
I don't think that's an overreaction.
I think it is.
I don't think it's an overreaction.
Well, I think
there's a massive opportunity there for players to step up, and they haven't shown it.
Well, if they haven't, they won't be on the plane.
Tuchel must be will sit down and dissect that camp and go, what was that?
Mate, listen,
what was that?
Sorry, have you forgotten what he's been here now over a year? And does that last year not matter to you?
No.
Is it just these last 2 games? Okay. What about the last year?
No.
He's been managing these players for, 13, 14 months?
Who have we played?
Now, Jake, we're never going to play anyone, mate. That's my point.
Well, we played 2 decent sides in Uruguay and Japan. We scored 1 goal.
Yeah, I know, but I'd have us to beat them at a tournament. You put your best team out, I'll have us. I'll have us to beat them.
Yeah, but I get that you have your best team. I get that, right? I understand that. But where's the players? We were talking about number 10s for England, right?
Yep.
At the start of the season, we're going, oh my God, look at the number 10s.
These players have never played together before.
Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, Jude Bellingham, Morgan Rogers. Look at this. Oh, they've all been rubbish.
They've dropped off. There's
no
doubt.
Rubbish.
There's no doubt. I agree.
Cole Palmer looks like he's his twin out there.
I agree. They've all dropped off. But I'm going to say it again. So what? It does not matter. It doesn't. It's up to Thomas Tuchel to go away, dissect and digest exactly what he's seen over the last week and a half, however long he's been with these players. There will be some players that let themselves down and will not get on the plane. There'll be some players that he's already earmarked. The last 12, 13 months that he has been with this squad, that's what's mattered. He's built up a relationship, built up what he wants to know. And there will be some places, maybe a half a dozen, where he's debating about who goes. But these 2 games and this camp will not define England. It's all about what happens going to America and against Croatia. That's when you'll hear me go after the team.
It's risky. But, all right, you can have your say on this, guys. Get involved in the show. You want to talk about England tonight. 03 717 22 3344.
Back on Thursday, Simon and Willie exchanged a fair bit of banter in the boxing hour on that day going into the fight.
I said, I think you're going to get beat, is what I said, Willie.
Is that what you said?
I did, yeah. I did. I'm happy to eat crow.
Simon, have you ever boxed a day in your life?
No, I haven't, no.
You should have no comment on boxing whatsoever. You should leave it to the boxers.
We will see.
Because you've never had a fight in your life.
We will see. And when you have an opinion on something in life that you've never done, we can have a conversation about that as well.
The only thing you can box, Simon, listen to me. The only thing you can box is box in Tesco's shopping centre. Well, that's what you can box.
Willie, if you lose that fight, you'll probably be working in there.
You shouldn't give any... but I've got plenty.
Good.
I don't need to
well,
go
let's
anywhere.
see you win.
I don't do this for the money. I do it for peace.
Good, fantastic, good. So when we see on Monday, if you've won, you'll be able to say all this. But don't lose, Willie, now. Don't lose. Whatever you do, don't lose.
But Simon, if you've never boxed a day in your life, and you've never felt a punch in your face, you should have no comment to boxing.
I'm not allowed an opinion.
In your life.
I'm not allowed an opinion.
Forget about this.
I'm not allowed
You're not allowed an opinion because you've never boxed.
Okay.
You don't know.
All right. Well, hopefully my opinion will mean nothing.
You should keep to the football.
But if I'm wrong, if I'm right, Willie, you are going to eat some crow, buddy.
Well, he didn't need to eat anything because the scores were wide, 99, 91, 98, 92, 98, 92. So, Willie, you got out of that shift at Tesco on Sunday. Well done. Good morning.
Definitely. I got out of it nice and clear. Thank God I don't need to work in Tesco's no more. And we're on to the next one.
You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We're getting the latest from World Cup qualifiers tonight. Kevin Hatchard's going to come on. Here are the headlines. Big news. Poland are out. Sweden are in. Turkey are in. Italy are out on penalties.
News, mate.
That is unbelievable.
That is incredible.
Third straight World Cup miss.
Can you imagine
Italy.
if that was England?
I mean, that's unbelievable, really. When you think about it, Italy,
yeah, again,
not at a World Cup.
No, that there'll be a nation in mourning, mate.
Oh, mate, that's unbelievable.
It is
unbelievable.
Especially as you mentioned the break, Jay, the size of this World Cup, the amount of teams going.
Oh, the amount of teams in it. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I don't know if when you look at it and you go out the Europe side of how you qualify and all that needs to be looked at. I don't know. I mean, it's absolute joke that Italy are not in the World Cup. But unbelievable. Right, the World Cup is just around the corner for England. They dropped a stinker tonight. It was live on talkSPORT.
Nakamura inside the penalty area. He's gone square to his right-hand side. Had his side footed in by Kaoru Mitoma. And Japan lead midway through the first half. A devastating counter-attack, often seen as the Achilles heel of this England team.
England have had a lot of the possession and failed to really break Japan down. As soon as Japan turned it over, Nakamura's ball across to Mitoma was absolutely outstanding, and he just rolled onto it and slotted it right into the near corner.
You can have your say on this. Let's go to Reese. He's a West Ham fan. All right, Reese?
All right, Reese.
Oh, guys, how you doing?
All right, Reese. What did you make of it tonight?
I honestly think Jason is falling into the little bit of the English arrogance trap that we all fall for sometimes. Most teams in Europe are using these free couple of games playing their main team. I know we've got a few injuries, I get that, right? But surely these 2 games should have been an experiment for the players that are going to come off the bench for us, the second players. Why on earth does he not watch Premier League football, Tuchel? Ben White and Foden have been on the bench all season for their clubs. Why are they starting? The front three tonight should have been Bowen on the right, Gordon up front, where he's been playing and banging goals in for Newcastle, and Rodgers on the left. He's played Rodgers right mid, and he's not effective. I think it's a bit of a mess, really. So why are we not looking at options that would be doing in the World Cup? I mean, fair play to James Garner, but come on. Is he an England international? Absolutely not. I mean,
it's a bit harsh.
Friday night, I was more like a Friday night. If you paid 80 quid to go and watch that team with Garner and Henderson midfield, you'd be a bit fuming, wouldn't you?
Well,
it seems like a waste of 2 games.
He ain't there to please you. He's there to try and find out. And you mentioned about players' secondary. Isn't that what he done against Uruguay? Isn't that what he did? I'd argue that was a charity game. I mean, I've had 2 Spurs players in England starting live at the moment. It's a club in crisis. I mean, it ain't because I'm a West Ham fan, but that's Solanke getting the England squad. Someone explain that to me. I think that tells you a little bit about the dearth of genuine, real quality behind Harry Kane.
That's a massive problem. That is a whole nother show.
That is. I take your point about
scary fault with not having Harry Kane.
You get Gordon to go up front for Newcastle scoring goals. So surely, give him a go up front in a couple of games where we can see if he could be Kane's understudy. He's banging the goals in for Newcastle up there.
Yeah,
I think it's been a waste of 2 games. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Thomas Tuchel would have got something out of it. I mean,
what do you think he gets out of it?
Well, that I don't know, but he would have. It's not just the games, but also spending time with the players, working with the players. There's some players that made their debut. There's a lot of players in this camp that he wanted to have a good close look at. He probably knows 85% of his squad, maybe higher than that. We all know who's on the plane, don't we? There are some question marks about 1 or 2, and players a year ago you would not have said that, but we know the bulk of his squad, don't we? If you sat down,
well, you got the obvious ones, right? Yes. Of course, right? The main 11, you'd probably say almost picks itself, but then you got to take 26, and you are going to need these players.
I don't think Harry Maguire's done himself any harm over the last 2 games, actually.
The number 10 position for me is scary fault.
That is not, well...
Has Cole Palmer done enough in this England, in the last 2 camps to warrant being on the plane?
This is what annoys me about you. Why the last... It's not just these last 2 games. It's the last year.
Well, he ain't played.
So for England, I'm talking about.
Yeah, but he's hardly played for Chelsea.
The last year, that's what Thomas Tuchel will look at. Not just Cole Palmer, all of them. It's not just the last 2 games. If you take the last 2 games...
But Cole Palmer needed to turn up for England this 2 camps and stake his claim.
Yeah, and
he hasn't.
Well, he hasn't done enough. None of them have. I mean, there are 1 or 2 players you look at and think... I think, in all honesty, as I mentioned, Harry Maguire, I don't think's done himself any harm. I think Garner's done himself any harm.
Are we going to go to a World Cup with Harry Maguire and Jordan Henderson?
We might do, yeah.
I mean, we're going on like we're favourites, right? Honestly.
Who says we're favourites?
Well, everyone likes to think we are. Everyone likes to think we are.
It's all about what you do when you... I've seen so many of this. I can go back over managers over the last 20 years where this same conversation comes around. None of this matters, right? You want to go into it in a positive mood. And Stuart Pearce summed it up. This is a reality check, okay? We're a good team. We can be a very, very good team. We're not a brilliant team. But it's about getting to the USA. The 2 warm-up games...
We should be a brilliant team.
No, well, we could be. We might be.
No, but we should.
Well, we might be when we get there.
When you look at the talent on display or the players that we've got...
Yeah.
We should be a great team.
Well, we might be. Well, you can't do any more than we've done in the qualifications, right? But that happens every single group, every single manager, every single time. And you never know how good you are because we cruise through these groups.
Yeah.
You can't gauge this. Tonight was disappointing. The other night against Uruguay was disappointing. I'm not going to sit here and slaughter anyone because it's all about what happens at the end of May when the squad's picked. Then there's about 2.5 weeks up until when that squad's picked, the first game against Croatia. There are 2 games in between that. Yeah. Then we'll start to see about what his team looks like. And if we won 5-0 tonight and 5-0 against Uruguay, so what? It's about what you're doing against Croatia, first game.
You keep saying what, but it does matter, Jace. It does matter.
It doesn't matter. Why does it matter?
Well, because we're going into a major tournament off the back of 2 terrible performances.
Honestly, I'm not... I might be being a little bit too flippant here, but honestly, I feel nothing tonight doesn't matter.
I think you're being arrogant.
No, I'm not. Why am I being arrogant?
Well, I think you are. I think you're building a team up, saying it don't matter.
No, if we'd won 5-0, I'd say the same. I said the same thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we do. By the way, Japan played well tonight. Give them some credit. Well organised. Tough team to break down. We struggled. Yeah, disappointing. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow morning worrying about what England do in the World Cup. I'll wait till the end of May, beginning of June. That's when I'll start really talking about what this England team can do. Have a look at the squad. Have a look at the first 2 warm-up matches. Harry Kane. We need our best players fit. Right? And it's been disjointed.
We're going to do it for Harry Kane ain't fit.
Well, that I will agree with you is a major problem. Yeah, I don't know how we can do anything without Harry Kane.
Let's go to Oscar. He's a Wigan fan. All right, Oscar.
All right, Oscar.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
I'm all right. What did you make of England?
Yeah, I'm deeply concerned, to be honest with you. I think the problem is, Japan are the first team from Asia to beat us at home at Wembley. Jace keeps on going on about the last year. Senegal beat us 3-1. First team from Africa to beat us on home soil. So I think these friendlies do matter. It's massively important. And I think outside those top 6 boys that we have, the Rices, the Kanes, the Sakas even, I think the depth just ain't there. We just haven't got the depth that we had under Gareth. I think if you boys look back to 2021, 2022, lads like Grealish, Mount, Sterling, would you take, both of you, Grealish over Rodgers? Prime Grealish over Rodgers?
Don't know, actually. You sounds like you think it's a simple answer.
Oh, no, I just think that the boys that are being hyped up from the Prem this year, like Rodgers, Anderson, Garner, Bowen, Palmer's form currently. Palmer's a world-class player, but current form. And we look back to what Gareth had, players like Grealish, Mount, Sterling, back in their prime going into those big tournaments. I just think we're not as settled as we were for 2018, 2022 and 24. I just think we're not
Oscar,
the same calibre.
Do you think that the Premier League is causing a bit of a problem for the national side, the way that the Premier League has been this season? Set-piece FC, everyone's playing, long throws, set-pieces, corners. And I'm watching this tonight, and I'm looking and going... We ain't really
it's not an easy watch.
This is painful. We're opening at Dan Burn and Harry Maguire scores a set piece in the 85th minute.
I think as well, what it is we, like Jace is right, we're not playing a lot of football, and he keeps saying the last year's been all right. But the reality is, I just think the continuity under Gareth, I think it's a lot for us to expect Tuchel to come in the state of the Premier League, like you're saying, and win the World Cup. Look at France, look at Spain and Brazil. They don't treat these friendlies with the arrogance I think we are. They don't lose at home to Japan, and they don't lose at home to Senegal, do they? The teams that win World Cups.
I guarantee over the last year I could go through some results. They've had a few results. I guarantee.
I actually think Japan beat Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, I you say there's nothing arrogant at all. What's?
Well, you're arrogant because you're saying it don't matter.
Why is that arrogant? Why is that arrogant? It's
because it is arrogant.
Why is it arrogant?
Have you boys been to Wembley to watch a friendly in a while? The atmosphere is awful, isn't it?
No, but they're all the same England games. No. The qualification games are dull. The friendlies are dull. I don't enjoy watching England play at any point except a tournament. That's the only time that I really do feel excited about England, because we're expected to win. And 9 times out of 10 we do, because the rest of the opposition, we're far better than. It's what matters when you turn up at a tournament. Getting there is never a problem. Our problem is when we're there. That's what that. Yeah. And Tuchel has been brought in my mind.
Our problem is when we're there, right? Which I agree on. Yeah. Doesn't them fine margins, them little moments in games where a player might come on and make a difference, and Gareth Southgate might make a change and go, that player, bring him on. Well, that's because we ain't going to know who that player is because the games that we've watched, I don't know who that player is. Is it Phil Foden? Is it Cole Palmer? Is it Morgan Rogers?
I've just had a point. I think with all the English teams doing all right, they're not doing as well in Europe this time around, but we've got a lot of big players who are going to be playing right up until the end of the season, Europa League, Champions League. I think I've got a bad feeling. My gut is telling me that we're just not as settled and on the right path as we were with Gareth going into the other tournaments. I just think quarterfinals. I think I've got some mates who've told me semis is great. They'd be happy with going out in the semis. So that says a lot as how people are feeling.
Yeah, look, Thomas Tuchel, in my mind, has been bought in for 3 games: quarterfinal, semi-final, and final. They're the 3 games where Gareth Southgate, Sven we were a quarterfinal team under Sven, right? But we were that team. We weren't good enough to get the semis. A bit of bad misfortune, playing more often than not against teams that were better than us. Tuchel's been bought for 3 games. It's as simple as that. We're always going to get there. We're going to get out the group. We're going to get past the next 3 stages. And when it comes to we then need to build to the quarterfinals. That's what we're building towards now. And if we don't get there, then it's a disgrace. Then you will hear me come out and have a say. But right now, getting beat home by Japan with a mixed bag of a team, couldn't care less, mate. Honestly.
All right, you can have your say on this. Keep your calls coming in. 03 717 22 3344.
Thomas Tuchel has a whole lot fewer Arsenal players than he might have imagined in the coming days, because 10 Arsenal players have now withdrawn, not just from England duty, but from international duty. Eze, Gabriel, Hincapié, Madueke, Rice, Saka, Saliba, Timber, Trossard, Zubimendi. 4 Arsenal players had originally pulled out of international duty at the start of last week, a day after the Carabao Cup final, a match that they lost to Manchester City. They were Gabriel with a knee injury, Saliba, recurring pain in his left ankle, Trossard, a hip injury, and Eze, a calf problem. Now Zubimendi and Hincapié are the latest to withdraw. In fact, both Saka and Rice joined the England camp on Friday, but didn't feature in the draw with Uruguay on the same day, and now they've withdrawn. Sir Alex Ferguson used to remove players from international duty. In 2011, he described friendlies as a waste of time. Arsenal invincible Martin Keown is in our midst. Martin, are Arsenal being hit with a disastrous injury crisis, or is Arteta doing a Fergie?
Well, there's a lot of players that are injured going into this international. I hope that you're not making it as an inference that Arsenal are deliberately taking players out, because I think they're genuinely injured, Jim. So let's just go through each one. So Eze didn't make the cup final.
Do you think all of them are genuinely injured?
Odegaard didn't make the cup final. They've been disappointed to have done so. I think there was another player in there as well. So 3 players missed the cup final. Zubimendi actually he played in the first game for Spain. He's got injured in that game. So I make that 4 of them. Gabriel, who's been pulled out of the squad, got injured early in the season playing Brazil and was out for 2 months.
Yeah, you're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy are going to be getting a reaction from Italy. They failed to qualify for the World Cup tonight. Unbelievable. But first, we're continuing to take your calls on England. Another poor performance. 03 717 22 3344. Let's go to Ben. He's a Chelsea fan. All right, Ben?
All right, Benny boy.
How you going, boys? All right?
Yeah, I'm all right, Ben. I'm all right. What did you make of England?
Not a lot. I'm just with my son, Quinny. Can he say hello? His name's Frank.
Hello. All right, Frankie.
We just come from that ball fest. Jesus Christ.
Did you go to the game, yeah?
Yeah, we did. We went to the other one the other day as well. But
terrible, no? Terrible.
Oh, really bad. So, I don't know what's happened to Cole Palmer, to be honest.
What's happened to him? What has happened to him?
Shot to pieces. I don't know what's happened to him. But,
Yeah, he's had a bad... Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, you were talking about defensive midfielders. Like, why are we always playing two defensive... It's always so defensive all the time.
I just always feel like at international level, I feel like England just always look a bit open when we play.
Probably got to play how you feel you're going to play in the tournament. So I don't think...
Yeah, but...
You know, and...
Do you want us to be playing at a tournament like that, defensive?
Well, I think if he's got a style of... You know, if he's got a system that he wants to work with, I'm not sure that you should be going into chopping and changing. You know, if we'd played a different system tonight, okay, that he's not playing the World Cup, what's the point of that? What is the point of that? That makes no sense to me. Now, I understand about the two defensive midfielders, but there will be a time where one of the number sixes, if there is two sixes, can go and be an eight, can go and join, can be a bit more adventurous.
Declan Rice has shown that this season with Arsenal,
yes,
right?
Yes, he has.
That 8 or 6, whatever you want to call it, he's the one who can... But I have to be honest, I mean, I'm watching the midfield today, I'm thinking, really? Is this England's midfield? Is this the best we've got? Outside of Declan Rice.
I can't believe Rodgers and Palmer, they couldn't string a pass together. It's very unlike them because they're class normally, but Jesus,
that's 10 here.
Look, they're playing a lot of games, right? These players have been playing a lot of minutes. Some of them have been playing all season. I'm worried, and I know Jace ain't, but I'm looking at the World Cup coming up. Players look dead on their feet. Got players pulling out with injuries. We got no creativity. The Premier League this season is all about set pieces and corners and throw-ins. And I'm watching the last 5-8 minutes of the game, and we're hoping that Harry Maguire and Dan Burn score a set piece. And I'm looking at going, is that what we're looking at? Is that genuinely what we're looking at?
But what is wrong with that?
What do you mean, what's wrong with that?
What is wrong with
that? What we got to offer?
I've seen Harry Maguire score big goals for England in tournaments.
No, I'm not saying it's not a bad thing, but if that's what we're looking at, if that's what we've got to offer with the amount of talent that England have got, and we can't make string two passes together and open teams up who want to sit on the edge of their box and hit you on a counter attack.
You're more worried
that's
about
a massive problem.
You're more worried about it than I am at the moment. Okay, there is
every England fan who's phoned up and said they're worried.
Yeah, no, because that's just knee-jerk reaction. I mean, how can you say these last two games? I mean, Spain drew 0-0 tonight home at Egypt. Do you reckon Spanish talk sport? Do you reckon they're phoning up going crazy?
Oh, sí, vamos, tranquilo, he's not good enough, eh? We need more, he's not more.
You know, come on. They're friendlies. No one... It's an inconvenient time right now, right? I understand there's an international break and there's a reason why they have them. And, you know, Tuchel, the managers need these. Some of the players, you know, they pulled out with niggles and knocks. Some of them don't, you know, their biggest games coming up are going to be between now and the end of the season. There's some a lot of these players have got massive, massive games coming up. Arsenal players to win the Champions League and win the Premier League. Liverpool players. You know, there are so many massive games coming up, not just that qualification from Europe. This is a bit of that's how I feel. I do. Like I said, we'll have this conversation in the warm-up games going into it. You want to start to see patterns of play, relationships being built, and an idea about what we're going to look like against Croatia. Tonight, nothing. Tonight is not going to have any bearing on how we play against Croatia, in my opinion.
Let's go to Rob. He's a Liverpool fan. All right, Rob?
All right, Rob.
Hello, mate. How you doing, chaps? All right. I don't get it. Jason just said it there. Patterns of play. If you're going to play in this World Cup, you've got to play with the team you're going to play. I don't understand why all this experiment rubbish goes on. I'm not quite sure why they get it. at the end of the day, look, why is he playing a false nine? Is that what we're going to do?
Well,
if you're going to do it,
I tell you why I think he's done.
At least, I just don't get it.
I tell you why I think he's
done. I don't understand.
I don't think he's totally convinced by Solanke and what other options.
I get that.
All right, we'll take Danny Welbeck then.
Yeah.
Take Welbeck.
But obviously he feels as though that's not the way he's going to. Danny Welbeck can't do any more.
Danny Welbeck's better than Phil Foden up front.
Yeah, but it's Danny Welbeck's not in his plans.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I have to ask him. I mean, between now and then, the end of the season, Danny Welbeck might score another half a dozen goals, right? That might change things. But he's not in his plans. And he's not been his plans the whole time.
No, but I look at
last year.
I go, he's not convinced by Solanke, right? All right, he's not, and I agree with him. He's playing in a terrible Tottenham team right now. Danny Welbeck, don't tell me, going into this, that Danny Welbeck couldn't have played tonight and done a better job than Phil Foden.
It would have been interesting to see.
So it would have been good if you're going to experiment with a false nine in Phil Foden. Well, you might as well have experimented and played Danny Welbeck.
He's not going. Right now, he's not going. He's not. If he's not in this squad, I'll be stunned. Not impossible, but improbable.
Is Trent not going?
No, of course not.
You're telling me Trent couldn't play in that team tonight?
He's not in his plans.
I just look at it and go,
it's not his plans, mate.
What was that? What am I watching?
If Trent can't get into this England squad, when you've got Reece James got an injury, Ben White's inclusion tells me that he is not taking Trent. And every World Cup squad, every major tournament, the England manager has taken the squad. There's always going to be, what about him? What about him? And there's valid arguments.
Rob, are you convinced by what you've seen?
No, I'm not convinced at all, because the thing is, you've got to play the way you want to play in the World Cup, because these is what the game's all about, right? And if you're not going to, Trent would be amazing for me, but I still don't get why he hasn't picked him. I don't understand that, but okay, if you don't want to pick him, that's fine. I've got no problem with that. Play the way you want to play. False nine. When have we ever played a false nine?
But what if Harry Kane is? What if Harry Kane is in? But if he can't experiment in these games, when can he?
No, but he's not meant to experiment. He's meant to play the team that's going to go and win it. Go and play the formation that's going to go and win it.
What do you mean not experiment? What are you on about? What do you mean? What do you think these friends? It's a friendly.
Yeah, but the thing is, with friendlies, you don't get many friendlies with these games. It's not about friendlies. Every friendly matters because you have to get cohesion with the team.
Maybe he's learned today that doesn't.
What the players are doing. People have to understand who's going to pass to who's going to do this, who's going to do that. Oh, they're talking about Phil Palmer and Palmer being all passing it around to each other, and it's because they don't play with each other, pal. That's the problem. And if they don't play with each other, then you've got to give them a chance.
Just pound me off.
I don't. Play the team. Play the boys.
No,
Rob, listen, thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. I think these are the games you experiment. I think going forward, the next two friendlies...
do you experiment with a false nine? We're not going to play a false nine in World Cup.
How do you know?
Because we're not.
We might. Well, then why has he done it? He's not going to just say, woke up this morning and thought, I'll play a false nine. Obviously, clearly, that's going to be... That might be... What if Harry Kane does something?
We had a fan on earlier, I think it was a Newcastle fan, and he said about playing Anthony Gordon up front.
Yeah?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, but...
He's banged goals, for Newcastle.
He's tried something different. He's tried something different.
Phil Foden.
He tried something different. Phil's played there before for City. He's tried it. He's had a look at it. Now, he'll go away and think, right, either that I will do and I'll do it a different way, or I'll completely... I've had a look at it, I don't like it.
Okay, here's a question for you then, right? World Cup comes around, Croatia first game, Harry Kane's injured. Who are you playing?
Don't know yet. Have to see. Well, we'll have a look at...
But you don't know!
Well, do you know? Here's the two games. This is why I'm saying these games.
The whole point of the whole point of these two games.
No. The points of these two games, in my mind, have a look at the players. It's a terrible time of season to get these players in and around an England squad. The next two friendlies that England have in the build-up, that's where you and I have a conversation. Saying, right, Kane's injured. What does it look like? Who can we play up top? I don't. Phil. He said, look at it. I ain't got a problem with that. I ain't got a problem.
All right, keep your calls coming in. You can have your say on it. We'll talk about Zerbi as well. He is in at Spurs 03 717 22 3344.
This is the fourth shortest reign of any Premier League manager. Just 5 days longer than Ange at Forest and 35 longer than 9-day Tudor Queen Lady Jane Grey. Oh no, you're taking a mickey now. And for a bit more context, it's thought that the average human would be able to walk from London to the heart of the Swiss Alps in such time as Tudor has been in charge. I want to know who worked that one out. We're going to take a call on somebody that's called 03717 223344. It's Eli. Eli, very good morning to you. Thanks for taking the time to call us this morning. Is this the right thing that's happened, Eli?
Yeah, good morning. Talking about Tottenham Hotspur now, my club that I've supported over maybe 50 odd years. Yeah. What I'm saying to you is, picking the manager, I'm not sure which type of manager you want for the next 7 games, but I don't think it would hurt for a massive football reset, a Tottenham Hotspur reset, to actually go down.
Oh, that's a heck of a statement to make, Eli, because I don't think there's any guarantees you can back up, mate. Are you saying you could go down, spend a couple of years down there, rebuild and come back up? Is that what you're saying?
Ali, yeah, good morning to you, sir. I support Hearts, my Scottish team as well, so good luck to them on Saturday. But yeah, back to Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, yes, Ali, I feel we might not, with the squad we've got. We've only got 3 players there at our club at the moment who actually want to be there and want to fight, and what it actually means to be a Tottenham Hotspur FC player.
To succeed, people often say you need to think outside the box. In sports, every now and then someone does just that and comes up with a crazy idea for an exhibition event that nobody else could have dreamt up. Here are some of the most iconic we've ever seen. I mean, what an image. This was the setting for the Battle of the Surfaces in 2007 between Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal. The courts in Nadal's home of Mallorca reportedly took 19 days to build and cost £1.2 million. The players had to change their shoes every time they changed ends, and despite some dodgy bits of grass, they slugged out an epic 3-setter, won by Nadal. But that's not even the most famous exhibition in tennis, because in 1973, we got the Battle of the Sexes, watched by 50 million people in the US alone. Billie Jean King's victory over Bobby Riggs was not only a landmark event for entertainment value, but also for its impact on the fight for gender equality in sports. I mean, the Battle of the Surfaces never got turned into a movie. Now, imagine a motor race that involved American Indy cars and European F1 cars. Well, that happened twice, back in 1957 and 58. The race of the two worlds took place at Monza and was nicknamed Monzanapolis. Despite legends like Sterling Moss, Phil Hill and Mike Hawthorne racing the F1 cars, the Americans won both years. Fans and the teams loved it, but it didn't make enough money, so got canned. For its cast list alone, though, the greatest exhibition might have to go to the Princess Diana Memorial match at Lord's. Mike Atherton captained a Marylebone Cricket Club side, with Sachin Tendulkar leading a rest of the world 11. Names like Wasim Akram, Zurav Ganguly, Andy Flower, Anil Kumble and Glenn McGrath turned out. The one-dayer, won by the rest of the world by 6 wickets, raised more than £1 million for the Princess of Wales Memorial Fund. Incredible all round.
good evening. You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara, Jason Cundy. Still to come, we're going to head over to Italy to get the reaction of them not qualifying for their third straight World Cup. Unbelievable stuff. But first, we're reacting to England's poor display. They lost against Japan tonight. 0-3, 717 22 3344. Let's go to Anthony's Arsenal fan. All right, Ant.
All right, Ant.
Evening, boys.
All right, Macy.
What'd you make of it, Ant?
Didn't work. Didn't work at all. Foden as a false nine just did not work. I mean, he calls up players like Solanke. Why not playing? What's the point in calling them up and not playing them?
Well, he can't play everyone.
I mean, what it was tonight, it reminded me of an Arsene Wenger Arsenal. It was pass, and not create anything. We did not have a shot on target until the 77th minute.
I mean,
it's bang average.
Does it really? I mean, you sound upset, and
I think when, say, the media talk us up as going into a World Cup as one of the favourites, and then you put on a display like that tonight.
Yeah. So what? I mean, I keep saying so what because it doesn't matter. Spain drew at home to Egypt. Didn't score tonight, Spain.
Yeah. I mean, I take your point, Jason, but obviously he's giving players a chance tonight, but then with some of that, it just showed clearly they weren't good enough.
Yeah, and that that's going forward. If that continues going into the World Cup, then it will be a very disappointing campaign. But I think he will have learnt things tonight, and for whatever reason, known to him, that he wanted to go with something different up top. And I don't have a problem with someone experimenting in games like this. I don't have a problem with that at all. It was a squad that was, a mishmash. There was players pulling out. His most influential players weren't available.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I've got to say, though, mate, I get what you're saying about experimenting, but a false nine of Phil Foden.
Yeah.
I have to say, like,
I wouldn't have gone
that's
with it.
not, that for me is just like a no-brainer. That's not going to work.
Well, he knows that now. You would have thought.
I'll say it again. Why not Danny Welbeck?
I know, but you...
I'm sorry, Jamie. I'm with you there. I would call up Danny Welbeck. I would.
Well, look...
Because the season that he's had, why not?
Yeah, he can't do any more. I think he's the highest scoring Englishman in the Premier League. Is that right? I think
he is. Yeah, he is.
He has experience, but he's not in his plans. He will give, if you asked him, he would give his valid reasons as why he feels that Danny Welbeck is not for him. But like I said, things can change. Heaven forbid, right? There's an injury to a player that eventually he might have to look elsewhere, and it may well be that Danny Welbeck continues what's been a very good season into the close season, manages to score another 5, 6, 7 goals for Brighton, catches the eye. Something happens. No door's completely shut, but I can't see now after that camp why, if he wasn't in this squad, why he would be, if all things stay the same, why he'd be in the next one.
If he scores 5 goals.
Well, but maybe. But I don't see who's going to drop out. That's the question.
Solanke?
Yeah, but Solanke might not be on the plane anyway.
Foden?
But
Foden might not be on the plane.
Cole Palmer. I mean, Cole Palmer looks a completely different player.
Well, he is. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, well, he is.
Has dropped.
Yeah, the 12 months that after the Club World Cup, his form has dipped. Any Chelsea fan, any football fan will tell you, and I've said it, Jay. He is not the same player. There's nowhere near the levels of consistency, influence on games, playing the right pass, picking the pass that hurts you the most. He's very, very good at picking the right pass and doesn't often lose the ball. Rarely does he lose the ball. And tonight was compounded because the goal come from him giving the ball away.
All right, and listen, thanks for your call. I'm going to go to Sid. He's a Man United fan. All right, Sid.
All right, Sid.
Evening, gents. How are you?
Yeah, all right, Sid. Look, just on the England game, what do you make of it all?
Yeah, so I've been listening to what you've all been saying, and Jason, I totally agree with you that this was Tuchel's chance to experiment, especially with players who aren't guaranteed to get on that plane in the summer. But Jamie, you hit the nail on the head earlier where you said that this is exactly their chance. They need to take their chance now if they want to get on that plane. I saw Cole Palmer today. We know the competition in that number 10 spot. Rodgers, Palmer, Jude. I'm probably missing names, but there's more names there who are in competition for that 10 spot. Cole Palmer was given that creative freedom, that license to be that main outlet. Okay, off the ball, he showed for the ball. Amazing, brilliant, good. But when he was on the ball, I read the statistics, 0% dribbling succession. Oh my God. Well, once I heard that, I thought to myself, well, you just shot yourself in the foot there. And then Jude didn't even come on. And then you saw Rodgers. Rodgers was missing as well. So it's like, you got to take your chances there.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't think one 90-minute game is going to influence Tuchel too much. There'll be some players.
It's a big 90-minute game, Jason. It's there. How many international games do you get a year? Yeah, this is their one chance. That massive 30.
I don't know whether it's. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, it's not like a trial. You're going to play for the Sunday team, right? This ain't. He knows what players can do, and he will be watching between now and the end of the season. Yes, it's disappointing, and there will be players that will reflect on their own performance if they're not on that plane. They will have thought, "Did I do something, or could I have done something different in that camp?" But I think he's got his squad in his head. There'll be one or two players that he will look at. I mean, the Reece James situation has thrown things up in the air for him, because I think Reece not only would have gone, I think Reece starts. He may still well make the tournament. I don't know whether Tuchel's looking at it the way you are. I don't think that this is the be-all and the end-all. Take your chance now or it's over. I think what's happened in the last 12 months will have far more bearing on his team selection than the last 90 minutes.
No, that's fair enough. And then if you look at the false nine thing today with Foden, it's clear to me he has zero faith in Calvert-Lewin. He has zero faith in Solanke, and I don't blame him. They're both average players. They're not good enough to play for England. Let's not be frank about it. Welbeck should have been called up. Welbeck, and you could argue maybe and Kane. Those are the two main 9 outlets that should be on the plane. Watkins has been abysmal. So for him to play Foden in that false 9, that tells me exactly what I was thinking. Beyond Kane, he has zero faith in those 9s.
It is a bit of a slap in the face, isn't it, for Solanke and Calvert-Lewin? Yeah. It's a bit of a slap in the face. But they had their chance the other day. I mean, Calvert-Lewin had a great chance. That header. He's got to bury that. Mm-hmm. He has got to finish that.
Yeah.
And that is food and drink for him. He is good in those situations.
We've got a serious problem without Harry Kane.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. But like I said,
the future of England, really, without Harry Kane, I think at the moment looks pretty.
But the future without.
I mean, look at Tottenham since Harry Kane.
Of course. But you Portugal without Ronaldo.
No, they're still all right.
No, but I'm saying without him, when at the peak of his power, you've got world-class players. You can't replace Harry Kane. He's irreplaceable. And you're right. It is a concern. If Harry Kane goes lame or suspension or something like that, yes, I have grave concerns about what we look like as a team. I genuinely do, yeah.
All right, keep your calls coming in. We'll try and squeeze a few more on. We have to head over to Italy because we've got to get the shambles from them. They are out of the World Cup. Unbelievable stuff. You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bet. Download the new talkSPORT Bet app today. 18 plus. Gambler dog.
Do you trust the Spurs ownership to get this next appointment right?
Do I trust the Spurs ownership? I don't know. Do I rate the Spurs ownership?
Well, you said you're not sure that you know what they're doing.
It's not for me to trust them because I don't care about their judgment. But do I rate their judgment? Well, not at this moment in time, because the body of work that they've produced is poor. they weren't responsible for the appointment of Thomas Frank, so there's an irrelevance to that question because Daniel Levy made that appointment. The fact that he fired him, the fact that was an inevitability and forecast by me 2 or 3 months earlier isn't a surprise. The fact that they've in my mind, they've got 2 people that are number 2s in business, running the business and making decisions of outside influences that sit on their board that don't have any football knowledge, in my view, making decisions, has brought out outcomes that would make anybody go, well, I don't really rate their thinking. As far as the Zerbi is concerned, he's a decent manager. He comes with his own baggage like most of them do. He did a decent job at Brighton. He was an ungrateful little wretch when he departed because he decided to have a broadside at the owner of the football club that spent enormous amounts of time giving him an opportunity and backing him. Just because you lost a game in Europe doesn't really entitle you to have a broadside at your ownership model. But that's what he does, and that's what you get. Now, for him, taking Tottenham Hotspur, I think there's all upside for him. This is a huge football club. Irrespective if it gets relegated or not, my balance of probabilities, it will bounce back again. And it'll be priced into people's thinking. If he takes the Tottenham job because of the size of that football club and the scale of it, then there will always be a dispensation if they were to be relegated, because it wouldn't be on his watch, really. He can't be responsible for less than 20% of the season, producing an outcome that ultimately has already been seeded in the previous 80%. He might get them close and close and go down and do what Benitez did, which is bring them back up again.
You listen to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We're going to be joined by Kevin Hatchard. He's going to go through all of tonight's World Cup qualifiers. But first, got to focus on one of the games now. Italy are not going to be in USA this summer. It's the 3rd straight World Cup they've missed out on. Unbelievable stuff. Italian journalist Daniele Fisichella is watching for talkSPORT, and he joins us now. Hi, Daniele.
Daniele, come stai?
Hi, good evening. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Jason.
Come stai?
What's happened? What happened?
What happened? Where do we start? We're out, and I think we are into the oblivion. We are no longer relevant. Italian football, I'm afraid, it does no longer exist because for 16 years we've not been at the World Cup, and by the time the next World Cup comes, 2030, there will be 20 years old in Italy and around the world that have never seen Italy at the World Cup. So we are basically a footnote into the world of football. And I'm afraid after tonight, Italian football lives on YouTube videos, lives on nostalgia account on social media, lives on shirt collectors, but it does no longer live in the memory and in the world that we are living because, for the majority of people, we simply don't exist anymore.
Daniele, but what has happened to this national team? Because, you talk about nostalgia, right? Italy. We're talking about Italy, World Cup winners. We talk about the greats of, football. Their Italian players are in the top 10, right? And you look at it and you go, how is a nation not at a World Cup? Like, how can that be? I look at the players that you've got, even in this squad, and you go,
okay,
how is that?
Well,
what's happened? What has happened over there?
I think the decline has started a long time ago. I started at least in 2006 when Italy won the World Cup. That was the beginning of the end. The rest of the European and world football had modernized. Italian FA, it's old. Italy as a country is even older, and I don't think they kept pace with the changes of the game. And increasingly, they have started playing more and more foreign players, not giving opportunities to young players. And the results are very stark, even in the European competitions. Now, when Italian teams do well, is more an exception. Before, it used to be the rule in the 90s, in the 80s, and you all know that, of course. And now when it comes to this particular World Cup qualifier, the damage was done when they lost match day 1 against Norway a year and a half ago in June. Probably they underestimated. And it's a team that unfortunately has got no longer superstars. They no longer have goal scorers or creative players, but because this is the product of Serie A, where the vast majority of teams play with 3 at the back, 5 midfielders, 2 strikers, and therefore is a system that is mainly defensive, where there are no number 10s, and where the wing backs are either defenders who can defend, like Di Marco tonight, Federico Di Marco, or they are wingers who cannot score enough goals, therefore they become wing backs. And I think why they decide to adopt the system, because it's a system that can give you better results quicker, but it's very conservative as well. And I think, it is a product of that. But going back to tonight, Italy were punished by episodes after all. The red card of Bastoni, yes, of course, it was a red card. Then with 10 men, they back down and back down. They had the best chances of the game, actually, with 10 men. They should have scored the second goal with Moise Kean, perhaps with Di Marco himself. And then they conceded the equalize. And a Bosnian player, Muaremovic, should have been sent off in extra time. However, if you get to penalties with the number 65 in the world to play for a World Cup, the first World Cup in 16 years, that means there's something very wrong along the line has happened.
Daniele, what would you do if you were in charge of the Italian FA? What steps? Because there's been enough warnings. This is not, as Jay said, this is the 3rd World Cup in a row now. And, it's not inconceivable to see there could be a 4th. What's got to be done between now and the next qualification for the World Cup to ensure that Italy are there?
Well, if I was in charge of the FA, if I was Gabriele Gravina, the FA chairman, I would step down straight away tonight, because Gabriele Gravina, the FA chairman, was in charge also 4 years ago when Italy were knocked out by North Macedonia in the playoff, and he still kept his place. So that would be the first things I would do for respect to all the Italians. Secondly, very deep reforms. I mean, the BIN talks about reducing the number of foreign players that are allowed to play in Italy, perhaps going back to the 3+1 rule, but that's impossible. The world has changed. Try to stimulate Italian clubs or incentivize Italian clubs to play Italian players that come through the ranks could be a better solution. So not limit the foreign players, but give incentives to the Italians to actually play in the 2nd division and in the top division. The BIN even talks of reducing the number of teams that play in Serie A, going down from 20 to 18 to perhaps maximize the quality of the players that play there. But overall, I think there has to be a change in the way the football is taught and developed across the country. Football, it's far too expensive these days for families in Italy, for young players, if they want to start. I mean, the charges are quite high as well. And often we hear that in football schools, in football academies, tactics is taught more than technique, how to dribble, how to cross, how to take a shot. And I think we need to go back to the basics. But this will bear fruits maybe in 10, 15, 20 years' time. For now, yes, I think the soul searching has started. Gennaro Gattuso might even continue as Italy national manager. He's only been in charge 8 or 9 games. Do
you think he should?
Yes.
Do you think he should stay?
Well, I cannot really point the finger at him, to be fair, because he only lost 1 game within 90 minutes, and that was against Norway. And the human material that is at his disposal, it's pretty average. Italy didn't play well tonight, but they didn't play well against Northern Ireland on Thursday. But at least today they showed a bit of grit, a bit of determination, a bit of dog defending after all, which is all part of the Gattuso DNA. I don't think he's a particularly tactically astute coach, but unless we go to any top coach in the world that probably they don't want to coach Italy, even a foreign manager at the moment, I don't think there is much really available. So yeah, I'll probably stick with him at least for the Euros. And the silver lining is that to qualify for the Euros is much easier than to qualify for the World Cup.
Well, just on that qualifying campaign, I don't know. I look at like the way the South Americans qualify. You say they've lost one game, right? Italy lost 1 game.
Two. Well, with Norway, home and away. Yeah.
So, and you look at it and you go, they're not in the World Cup because they've lost against Norway. And it's like, look at the South American teams. Some of them have been garbage, and they're there because of the way the qualifying setup is. I don't know if it's a bit of an issue over here. We talk England, right? We cruise through. I get it. We're the best team. We always play against bang average sides. But I don't know if it's... We're talking about the biggest ever World Cup, right? The amount of teams that are going to be there this year. It's the biggest ever World Cup ever. And Italy are not there. It just doesn't...
It is disproportionate, I agree with you, because there are only 13 European teams qualifying to a 48 teams World Cup. And of course, the number of Asian and South American and African teams has increased. So it is a World Cup that represents more the world rather than the footballing world, which is basically Europe in a way.
Yeah.
However, Italy knew the rules. They all knew that they had to finish top of the group, otherwise you have to go through the playoffs. And even in the playoff, they played Northern Ireland 69th in the world and Bosnia 65th in the world. So there are still the issues that these games were winnable. And tonight games started well with Italy taking the lead after 25 minutes, and then they lost the way. They lost the identity that probably they don't even have, to be fair. So yes, of course, we can talk about the qualifier rules as much as we want, but it's fair for everyone. So I don't think it's there to change. If you can't make it, that means you deserve to be out.
Yeah, it's shocking, really. But look, at least you got a nice summer planned, mate.
No, he hasn't.
There you go. Put your feet up, go Sardinia.
I know. I'll still watch the game. Unfortunately, it's one of those summers where you turn the TV on.
Yeah.
Who plays? Who cares? I mean,
cheer England on.
Oh yeah, it's fine. I'll watch England. That's definitely.
Italy are going to be in mourning over this, right? I mean, the Italian fans, some of the most passionate fans in the world.
It's terrible. It's terrible. But I mean, it's terrible for me, for my generation, but it's terrible for the youngest generation. We've never seen Italy at the World Cup. At least when I was 12, I would have seen Italia 90, USA 94.
Yeah.
Which, still good memories. But yeah, if I think about the youngers now, this summer for them, it's gonna be a very sad one.
Yeah. Unbelievable stuff. Also, organise a couple of friends. He's getting Northern Ireland or something.
Come on.
Have a couple of games against them.
Maybe. I'll think about it.
Daniele, top there, mate. Thank you.
Ciao.
Right, we're going to move on. We're going to talk more of the qualifiers tonight. We've got Kevin Hatchard. He's coming up next. Friday night, England drew 1-1 with Uruguay. Ben White making his first appearance for his country since he walked out at the Qatar 2022 World Cup camp due to a reported falling out with the then assistant Steve Holland. So, Ben White on Friday night, Martin, a bit of an eventful night for Ben, to put it mildly. He gets booed when he put the ball in the back of the net, and he gave away the penalty in the 94th minute to see the game finish 1-1, and he was booed as he came off. Jonathan Norcroft in the Times: "It's an angry world and modern football crowds exhibit it. But booing a player after scoring for your country is still difficult to comprehend. Supporters do need to hear Ben White express some sort of regret. White is shy, but it's not too much to ask him to talk." We didn't hear from Ben, but we heard from Tuchel on the boos.
Disappointed if our players are booed. I understood that it happened before to players and they went through it and took it on the chin. Still, I don't like it. Still, I'm disappointed. I will always protect my players. He did so well in training and he scored for us, so it could have been a perfect comeback. But it was mixed reactions. It was not only boos, some cheered, so let's hope we put this behind us.
Martin, Jonathan Norcroft in the Times were saying that maybe if he's going to continue his international career, Ben White, he should explain himself what happened. Maybe speak out about the events from those years ago. Supporters do need to hear him express some sort of regret.
Coming in on the Sports Bar, we'll try and squeeze a few more on. We've got back pages coming up as well, but let's take a look back at tonight's European action with talkSPORT Bet.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com to see all our latest sign-up offers. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Yeah, look, we've got to look at this because big night for other nations around Europe. Kevin Hatchard joins us. All right, Kev?
All right, Kev.
How are we, chaps? You well?
Yeah, we're good, matey. We're good. Look, let's start with Italy because it is a big talking point. I don't know. Did you watch the game, Kev?
I did. Yeah, I thought it was fascinating, actually.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. We didn't have the game. We obviously had the England game on. The sending off obviously was a huge factor in the game.
Yeah, it was. And, Italy started okay. There was a dreadful error from the Bosnian keeper, Nikola Vasil, which allowed Moise Kean to score. And then Donnarumma waves everybody forward because he's going to go long from the goal kick. The goal kick barely makes halfway, and then it's headed back towards the Italian goal. Bastoni's out of position, brings down his man, and the referee decides to send him off. And, that was late in the first half. They dug in well, there's no doubt about that. They had a massive chance, actually. Moise Kean went through again and really should have made it 2, but he missed the target, and that was a key moment in the end. But I thought Bosnia were superb, actually. I thought they played really well against Wales, especially in the second half of that game. And, Edin Dzeko, you've got leading the line at 40. You've got Haris Tabakovic, who's had a great season in the Bundesliga with Gladbach. He got a late equaliser in this one. And I thought Bosnia-Herzegovina deserved it.
I mean,
I really did.
2 late equalisers. That Dzeko against Wales obviously gets them through.
Yeah,
and another one.
right.
I mean, fair play to them because Wales really should have won that game. I thought they were the better side. But second half, Bosnia were good. And then, tonight they get through against Italy. I mean, Wales probably be sitting there kicking themselves.
Yeah, I think they will. I think the thing that's really interesting about Bosnia is that they came very close to going through in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
They were, I think, 12 minutes away from going through, and they conceded a late equaliser against Austria, and that meant they didn't qualify. And when you bear in mind they've not made a World Cup since 2014, there was a lot of pressure on them tonight. Obviously, the big story was Italy are going to miss the 3rd World Cup and all of that, and there was pressure on them, enormous pressure. But this was big for this group of Bosnian players. It was huge for somebody like Dzeko, who's 40, and he knew this was his last chance. But Alabekovic, the teenager, took his penalty incredibly well, had some great moments. So you had a nice little kind of display of the 2 generations there playing alongside each other. It was a great effort from them. It really was.
Now, one 40-year-old has gone to his final World Cup. Unfortunately for Lewandowski, though, he has retired. they are out. Sweden are through. Graham Potter's Sweden, by the way. Did you watch that game? And if so, tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, this was a game that went this way and that, really. Sweden were in front a couple of times. Anthony Elanga scored a brilliant goal, actually, to put them in front. They then got pegged back, took the lead again just before half-time. Again, Poland.
Kev, sorry, mate. Your line's just gone really funny. We'll maybe just come back in a sec. We'll sort you out. Look, just Graham Potter.
Fair play to Graham Potter.
Yeah, I mean, that's massive.
Yes, it is. He went away. Obviously, what happened at Chelsea, and he took some time off, gone back to where he really did build his coaching reputation back in Sweden, gone on the national side. I mean, he's fair play to him, mate.
Yeah, I mean, to beat Lewandowski's Poland, to get through to the World Cup, Sweden with a team. I mean, they've got Bergvall. I think is there. So Kev, you back?
Yes,
sorry,
back
mate.
with you.
Yeah, we're just talking about Graham Potter. Fair play.
Gremlins in the system. Yeah. And look, as I say, they got pegged back again, and then Gyökeres scores late on, 88th minute. It was a bit of pinball in the penalty area, and he put the finish away well. Fair play to him. He got a hat-trick in the semi-final, and then has scored in this one. So, that's a great effort when you bear in mind, and I know people don't think it's fair necessarily. Some people have seen on social media already saying it's not fair that Sweden have had a chance at this. Yes, they finished bottom of their group in the normal qualifiers, but it was set up from the start that you could, if you won your Nations League group, have a second crack at this potentially. And that's the way that's worked out. And so everybody knew what the deal was at the start. Graham Potter took over a team that was really low on confidence, playing really poor football. Jon Dahl Tomasson had a nightmare before Potter took over. Potter didn't win his first couple of games, but the Swedish FA saw enough to extend his contract before we even got to these playoffs. So I think they wanted a show of faith in Potter before the playoffs. And I think they put together two really strong performances, and here they are at World Cup. And when you think of the quality they have potentially, Gyökeres, Isak, if he's back fit, which we assume he will be, Bergvall, who I heard you talking about there.
Kulusevski, I mean, it'd be nice to see him out on a football pitch.
Nygren as well has been doing well for Celtic as well, so they've got quality. There's no doubt about that.
Just on Gyökeres, because he always seems to score for Sweden. He's got a really good sort of goal record again. Do you think Arteta's stifling him a little bit?
I think, look, his goal record's not too bad for Arsenal. At the moment, he's part of a team that's going well in the Champions League and top of the Premier League. But it is a step up. He was banging in goals in Portugal for Sporting very successfully, but it is a step up to the Premier League. International football is perhaps not the same standard as the Premier League, but you're talking about a guy who's playing his first season at Arsenal. I think his goal record's not too bad. What you've got is a guy that really likes to have the ball early, and he likes to run at people, and he likes being in those kind of wider areas. So maybe it's taken a while for Arsenal to get used to him and him to get used to them. But I think it's a bit over the top, some of the criticism he's had. I think I'm not quite sure what people were expecting. I mean, you can't necessarily compare him right now with some of the top players in the Premier League, like a Haaland or something like that, because he hasn't got that track record at this level. But there's every chance that will come, and there's every chance that he'll be a Premier League champion in his first season in England. So I think the criticism, personally, has been way over the top.
Kev, I've got to ask you while I've got you, just on Roberto Zerbi. He's become the Spurs manager. You see him at Marseille. I'd say it's 50-50 in terms of how people feel about it. I think he's a great appointment. I think he's a really good manager. But what's your take on him after seeing him with Marseille this season?
He's a firebrand, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's never a dull moment in that sense. He's somebody that is demanding downwards and upwards in the sense that he wants that support from the guys above him. He wants absolute commitment from the players. There are obviously concerns that some Spurs fans have about things off the pitch, and I can understand that, and they're perfectly entitled to have that view. And in terms of the football itself, I think he's a very smart coach. I think he's very, very adept at getting teams to play his way. and it has been successful. The problem, you would say, is that there can be some pretty low lows as well. You know, they played some great football at times, but they were well behind PSG really in the race for the league title. Lens have been a lot closer, and they crashed out of the Champions League really badly, and that's what set the whole thing in motion, as in him going and the sporting director going and ultimately the president going, because they completely flamed out in the Champions League. They were almost there, and they lost to Liverpool. They lost to Club Brugge really heavily, and so, you know, it is hit and miss. It really is. I mean, you look at his time at Brighton, he did some great things at Brighton, but then started getting a bit frustrated about the transfer policy and how things were going. And, you know, you look at his career and it is that roller coaster. It is very much up and down. So I think he's a coup in some senses, in that there'll be a lot of clubs that were interested, but I can't tell you how it's going to go long term, because that seems to be the thing that's coming out of the club. Long term, long contracts, projects. He isn't a project guy if you look at his career. I think he's super talented. I really do. I think he's a really talented coach, but he can be a divisive figure. And because he's so passionate, you know, some players don't like that.
Iran beat Costa Rica 5-0. I believe Infantino was there. What is the latest, if anything, on that situation, Kev?
Well, the FIFA president's come out and said that he's had positive talks, and as far as he's concerned, not only are Iran going to play at that World Cup, they're going to play their games as scheduled in the US. Right. Obviously, this is an absolutely extraordinary situation. We've had, you know, situations throughout major tournaments in the past where there have been you know, a political background and a war background in terms of the build-up. But this is really quite extraordinary that obviously Iran currently are at war with the host nation. So you don't see that very often. But what we do know is that Infantino has said, as far as he's concerned, it is plan A and plan A only. There is no plan B, C or D. And as far as he's concerned, Iran are going to play at that World Cup, and they are going to play the games where they're scheduled to play them and when they're scheduled to play them. So as things stand, that's where we're at.
All right, Kev, you're an absolute star. Thank you.
Cheers, Kev.
Cheers, chaps.
All right, it's Kevin Hatchard there. That was a look at the latest action. Thanks to talkSPORT. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, gambleware.org.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com to see all our latest sign-up offers. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Right, up next, we've got back pages. There's a huge story that has just broke as well. Simon Johnson will bring us that next. Is Itoma the sort of fighter, Dave, that the likes of Fury, the likes of AJ, you know, that they're in the mid-30s now, they're trying to avoid, and maybe more like a Fabio Wardley and Dubois would be one of the fights that you'll have next?
Yeah, Joshua and Fury won't go near him. He's too young, too fresh, too fast. You know, their best days have gone. So, Itoma, realistically, he's looking at Dubois, Wardley winner. I don't think the Wardley winner. I think if Wardley wins, I don't think he'll box him because they're in the same gym. Dubois may. But Caballel, you know, Itoma's gonna have to fight one of them guys. He's not gonna get one of the old guard that's on the way out. He's gonna have to box one of the real, you know, main men, which is Caballel. So it's interesting, and then he's going to be around for another 15 years, hopefully. You know, so there's going to be people we're not even heard of yet that are going to come and have a go at him.
Is that the danger with heavyweights like him, to be so strong and powerful but quick as well?
Yeah, it's the speed. All heavyweights can punch. For me personally, I've never been put over in a fight, never been down and out. That's because I can see him coming. The fear, the danger of the time is you don't really see him coming. He's that fast. You know, he throws a lovely right hook off the back of a left hand to the body, and no one sees it coming. That's what Franklin does well. Franklin doesn't get hit properly. That's why he's never been over. All his great chin talk for me is nonsense. There's no great chins. Anyone gets hit properly, you go over.
You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara, and Jason Cundy. Still to come, we got some midnight trivia. We need your help as always. Get involved. 03 717 22 3344. But first, time for the back pages. Simon Johnson joins us, right, Si?
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Now look, I said before the break, there's a huge story coming out, and I've got to start with it. It's a massive story. Back page of the Sun. Say no to the throw. Back page of the Times. Long throw, long no. Throwing out the rule book. The Premier League plan on implementing a ban on long throw-ins directly into the opposition's penalty area from next season. The Premier League believe that the product over the past season has been diminished due to teams such as Arsenal and Brentford taking advantage of these throw-ins. I mean, could this happen, Si?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's an extraordinary story, you have to say. But, you know, when you sort of think that some of the accusations levelled at Arsenal being set-piece FC, even as well as Brentford have been doing, their style of football is come into question, you know, relying a lot on goals from throw-ins. I think they're into double figures since the start of last season. Arsenal actually just hired in January as a consultant, a former Brentford coach that helps them with the long throw-ins, Sir Thomas Gronemark, to try and improve their long throw-in success rate. And when you sort of think that even if Arsenal aren't scoring from long throw-ins, they tend to be winning corners, which of course they're very prolific at. And look, Premier League are clearly worried about the quality of football we're seeing in the Premier League.
Look, I'm sorry, but this is ridiculous.
Is it, Jay?
No, do you not think so? I mean,
I like it. I mean, Arsenal ruined the Premier League.
No, it's been part of the game since time began, okay? You cannot, because one particular season, one team, in fact, it's not just Arsenal, there are other teams. In fact, they're all at it, by the way. Your Spurs, Danso, is it in the...
Yeah, but Arsenal are the worst.
They're all at it.
Arsenal are the worst.
No, I cannot believe this. This is it. So what is the next step? What's the next move?
Well, Jay, like with all things, when it gets to the Premier League, the clubs will have a meeting next week and it goes to a vote. And if there's a majority, it's 14 clubs out of the 20 have to approve this. And early indications are, as is being reported in these stories, that there's a lot of support for this because, you know, obviously clubs are sort of don't think it's the right way to play a game of football.
Well, we've seen this season, so haven't we? Like the set pieces that and it has become a bit ridiculous. We and we've seen tonight. It's been boring. We talk about the Premier League being the best league in the world, and the Premier League now have actually stepped up and said, we agree. This is we want to see free flowing football, and I think too many teams are just bending the rule, using it, and I've got teams of Rory Delap's knocking about.
Yeah, it's not been great for the game, and we've sort of seen. I heard you talking earlier, Jamie, a knock-on effect to the England national team. So there are consequences of the path that this style of football is taken in the Premier League, and I think it's brave of the Premier League to actually think about this and try and do something about it. And a lot of clubs seem to be in support of it. Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how clubs like Arsenal and Brentford react to it, though. Yeah,
massive story, this. So if you want to have your say on that, 03717 223344. The Premier League are looking to implement a ban on long throws directly into opposition's penalty area from next season. Right, let's get into some other back pages as well. Look, Zerbi to stay at Spurs if relegated. That's on the back page of the Times as well.
Yeah, if you remember talking last night, Jamie, that apparently had come up in conversation as part of the talks. Well, it's now been sort of ruled out as a possibility that he'll stay regardless now. That's great news for Tottenham. It also perhaps shows De Zerbi's confidence that he'll keep them up. He's been well paid. The Sun report a £12 million a year contract for 5 years, which is not bad work for him. And yeah, I think it shows that he feels he's confident he can do it. He doesn't want to manage in the Championship for sure. So
yeah, but he's in a position to ask for what he wants, right? I mean, if we stay up, if we stay up, people moaning about the contract, right, and the length of the contract, who cares? Do you know, like if Spurs stay in the Premier League, he's worth the 5-year contract. And if it doesn't, and the worst thing happens, and he's willing to stay, Roberto De Zerbi in the Championship, I'd snap your hand off for that. So I look at it and I go, what's everyone whinging about? Spurs are in disarray. We were talking about getting Tim Sherwood and Harry Redknapp as a thing that could actually genuinely happen. We've got a Champions League current manager who's just left the team who was in it, fighting it out at the top of his game, who's come to Tottenham and are in dire straits.
Yeah, and look, he's not going to take any time to settle in. He knows the Premier League. He'll know the kind of teams he's up against, pretty much. Of course, he's got to wait a bit for his first game, Sunderland, on April the 12th, which won't be an easy one. But I can see why Tottenham have gone down this route. They will now obviously be hoping that this move pays off. The owners need this to come off after making some terrible decisions that, for one reason or another, haven't worked. But this guy, he's a fiery character. He's going to get that dressing room going, and they certainly need a bit of a rocket up there, certain areas to get them performing a lot better than they have been.
Back page of the Mirror. Saitoon can buy big, but only if they sell. This is Newcastle, of course.
Yeah, so this is a quotes from the finance chief, Simon Kappa. He was asked directly, can Newcastle make a sort of like a marquee signing? He says, we can do that, but we might not be able to do that without selling somebody. This is the reality of PSR once again, and particularly with the frustration that Newcastle and their fans have felt that PSR, they've got all this money and they can't really spend it because they have to live within these rules. So one in, one out. Of course, the number of the kind of names that have been already linked with moves away, players like Tonali, who's got an awful lot of interest and will generate a massive sum. It must be a bit frustrating for Newcastle because, as we saw last summer, they sold Isak and were able to obviously spend that money. They've not actually spent it that well so far. But it just shows that they're kind of struggling to sort of push on to the next level because of this restriction of the financial situation.
Si, you're an absolute star, mate. Thank you.
Top man.
Pleasure, guys.
Cheers, matey.
All right, that was Simon Johnson there. Those are your back pages. Right, we were going to do a midnight triv, but after hearing that breaking news story, the Premier League plan on implementing a ban on long throw-ins directly into the opposition's penalty area as early as next season. Big news. You can have your say on that. Give us a call. 03717 223344.
With Mo Salah leaving, a lot of commentators have talked about the fact there's a lack of icons in the Premier League. Obviously, last year we had De Bruyne leave. You've had, over the course of the last few years, you've had Ronaldo back fleetingly. You've had Ibrahimovic here fleetingly. But the big boys don't come to the Premier League.